Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to talk a little bit about finding alliteration and some more figurative language. We're going to go over the definition of stanzas, and we are going to go over other little sections in this poem so that we have some general understanding. Now, what is alliteration? Somebody remind me, what is it? It is a repetition of beginning sounds. Again, the repetition of beginning sounds, not at the end, not in the middle, but of beginning sounds. And it's what? Of initial consonant sounds and closely positioned words. Yeah, that's a lot of words. So what are we looking for? We're looking at the same letters. We start with the same letters. When you pronounce the words, do they have the same sound? Then you read over your choices again, because sometimes it's not that clear. So let's go ahead and start looking at this poem. First, you need to know, how do you know something is a stanza? So how do I know it's a stanza? A stanza is like a paragraph, story. A stanza is like a verse in a song. So that is how you know it's a stanza. And you also need, in many different explanations, they say you also need to look for the blank space after each section. So that's what makes it a stanza. Now, in this poem, we're reading The Tornado by Irene Latham. So it says a story comes crumbling. Over the hill, it tumbles, hailstones and cracks tree trunks. It craves front page news, so it musters all speed and muscle. It tears across Main Street, steel shingles, and unparked cars. So, some of you said this is damages. Some of you said this is a messy time. Yes, it is. So, I like the idea that we all came up with, that it is destruction. Stealing the single and it's stealing the unparked cars. That means they're moving. So this is what helps to make it be called a stanza. It has a complete thought. This is talking about the destruction in the tornado. Later on, we'll go over the alliteration. So first we have to understand what is a stanza. Then let's go to the next one. So we're looking at the next section. It whirs, whistles, screams, and teams with twists. No one sees coming. We huddle, hunch, brace ourselves for the end. What is that talking about here? It's whirling, it's moving around, moving around. Wait a minute. It's talking about the tornado. How do you feel? Do you feel the same like the first set of words, or like in the first stanzas? No, I don't. Together, we praise ourselves. We have some fear. We have some chaos. We have the word scream. So that is telling us that's a different thought. Everybody got that a little bit? That's a different thought. We're bracing ourselves. Hey, we're moving backwards for the end. So we're talking about fear, and we're also talking about chaos. Now, so for me, it starts at the word it and ends at the word end. Let's go to stanza 3. Stanza 3 talks about when sunshine arrives, we unfold, we emerge. Wow, sunshine. There is hope. Again, when we see those words, our words echo and soothe. There is hope. As we join hands together, hope with our neighbors. Together we sift through rubbles. We're just happy to be alive. We're just happy to serve. So this is what we would call the next stanza. Some people may say, the stanza has the line in between. But again, we also have to look at the thought. Okay? And that is not the main thing to learn about in this poem, but you still need to know how to identify the stanzas, and you need what are the alliterations. Now, let's look at this. In this question, from our scholastic book, they're asking us to identify the alliteration. Now, there's some easy ones to see. I didn't put all of them here, but look at the word tree and trunk. Kind of the same sound, right? So TR, TR, and we pronounce. That sounds good. So that may be our first alliteration. Now, we're going to look at another section right here. So it musters all speed and muscle, it tears across Main Street, steel shingles. What do we see repeated? S for street, S for steel, S for shingles. What do we need to do? Pronounce it. Street, steel, shingle. We're looking for what we call same sounds. Some people say STR is different from ST in terms of pronunciation. So some books will say street, steel, and shingle, maybe alliteration. So I put it there. However, some people say it's not. Let's move on. Easy one to figure out. Whirls, it whirls and whistles. That is clear alliteration. Whirls, whistles. It begins with a WH sound. That's clear. Screams and teams with twist. No one sees coming. We huddle, hunch. Many people identified huddle and hunch as alliteration. So let's look at the next. Brace ourselves for the end. When sunshine arrives, no. We unfold, emerge, no. Our words echo, no. And soon as we join hands together with our neighbors together, we sift through rubber. Don't see it there. To shape a new story. Now, shape, that's with the S. New story. Those both also start with the S. So it's kind of the same thing like street, steel, and shingles. We have to sound them out. Some text says shape and story is, and some says no. But we're going to stick with the ones that is easily to identify, okay? Now, it rises a hallelujah. No, nothing there. Then the last part talks about as a goldfish gathers. Goldfinch gathers. So go, ga, go, goldfish gathers. Everybody see what we do? We sound out the words. So the ones that is easy that we all clearly identify. Words, whistles, huddy, hunch, goldfish, gathers. Have all of those are easy to identify. Now, tree and trunk, easy to identify. So some people in classes miss there's another set. So I want you to find. So total, as a class, we identified 7. However, I want you to find the one that I didn't talk about today. So I hope everyone understands a little bit about alliteration. In the other poems we did in class, they weren't as clear as this. However, in this one, you should be able to identify whether you are an ESOL student or a non-ESOL student. These are a little easier. So I want everyone to practice identifying them in all the poems because alliteration is part of our figure of speech. Now, I want to go back to the first paragraph. Again, going back to the first paragraph. So, you know when we talk about stanzas, what we're looking for. But I want to go back to this first stanza. So we have the alliteration, tree, trunks, steel, shingles, and I also put the sounds for you. But I also want you to look in the poems for what? The figurative languages. Or the figurative language. So the story comes grumbling. Can a story grumble? Okay. So what grumbles? Now, it craves front page news. Wait a minute. What can crave? Now, I need you to find all the figurative language as you go through the poem. Everybody see what I did in stanza 1? So I need you to do it for stanza 2. Stanza 3. Able to identify. So in this, we have alliteration, we have personification, we have imagery. Then you're going to go on to stanza 2. Go to stanza 2. What do you find? When you go on to stanza 3, what do you find? Everybody understands that? So I want you to go through each stanza. You see the alliterations here. But we need to find all the figurative language. So stanza 1 is done. Stanza 2 is done. Stanza 3, you bring that to me. All right? Have an awesome day, everyone. And I hope this helps to clear up alliteration and give you more practice on figurative language. Have an awesome day. And let's work towards making our PMs, doing our PMs and doing our classroom tests, doing this well. Thank you again. Stanza 1 again. And the figurative language. Stanza 2, you're going to find figurative languages. So stanza 3, you're going to bring that again to me. Have an awesome day.